The Randoms looking to play spoiler for Oxygen Esports. This is the home stretch. We saw the desk in unison picking Oxygen. Chat much closer. Johnny, what are your odds?
Yeah, I think I gotta agree. You gotta go Oxygen in this one. They're just too experienced in this split. They've had too many impressive results already this event. Randoms, though, what day they just had yesterday. That is, something we don't see too often from these up-and-coming teams. So many teams qualify and then just get immediately eliminated day one, but not these guys. They're fighting through a bracket of death of their own.
And I witnessed this Randoms team take down NRG pretty commandingly, and it was shocking, expecting NRG to finish at the top of the group once again, but the Randoms took them down. It was the only team the Randoms were able to take down, but we did see what they're capable of. However, this Oxygen team, so much to play for. We'll see how it all goes down. Right now, we see LJ on the dribble. Ooh.
How were NRG outplayed? I know you watched that one very closely. Whenever I tuned in, I see so many solo plays coming out of these Randoms players. There's so many dangerous mechanical plays. They seem to be following up on each other's plays pretty well, though. It's not just solo play, solo play, solo play. They're actually playing off each other's touches very well from what I can see.
That was the case in the NRG series. One of the things that they did really well was operate on the corner wall and the backboard of their opponent. So in the situation with NRG, you had Chronic specifically able to get a fantastic first touch in the corner and then dribble it along the wall and dish it out to someone in the midfield. And that caught NRG a few times. And you're right, this team, more than just mechanics, they've got that team play potential.
Yeah, now seeing Knight just lingering downfield. They're trying to find those lob passes all the way up the middle. LJ lob pass to himself. Backboard coming into play already quite a few times. Randoms calmly defending at the moment. They're not panicking. That's a great 50-50 by LJ to bring Gimmick into the play, and he meant that. Look at this deflection from LJ to pass off to Gimmick.
And the thing I love about Gimmick is he's got that scoring instinct, that killer instinct. He could have easily, thought about going for a pass back, maybe gone for a pass off the backboard, try to fake out the defense, but no, he goes right for net. And that kind of killer instinct is invaluable, especially when you need that offense to show up.
Gimmick, I think, unanimously considered the best attacker years ago in the game. So hard to play against, pretty much impossible to defend. And he's getting right back to that. Oh, what a touch that is by 2P, sending it all the way down the field. No follow-up from Randoms. Need to try and control the ball here. Oxygen sitting so far back in their half. They are not moving in too early on these plays. But will Randoms realize that? Will they start to go for those dribbling plays? I know that they're more than capable.
And that was a nice bump. Oxygen putting the screws on. You even saw a team bump there. Two players from Randoms running into each other. Oxygen, their attack looking polished. NRG made the mistake of giving Randoms a lot of space. Oxygen not making that mistake so far.
Yeah, the ball pressure's been pretty consistent. Toasty getting a lot of space to work with. We've got that impossible to read lineup of double Dominus on the Oxygen boys today. Trying to predict what they're going to do. LJ, who is the star of the show, taking down SSG, sets up another pass. This time Toasty's cracking the crossbar. Randoms, fairly quiet in offense. They've had plenty of touches on the ball, but none of them materializing into realistic chances on net.
Even there was a chance. That first touch, though, getting too far away. However, shot opportunity for Chronic. LJ tipping the ball. It hits the crossbar down and out. A close call for Oxygen.
Yeah, what a save by LJ. I love the placement of the shot as well from the offense coming out of Randoms. Saw the pre-jump, aimed underneath it. It is difficult to dive back down after you've already jumped off the wall like that, but LJ actually played it perfectly. He had the entire goal covered top to bottom.
Two-piece. That one will find its mark. It was a close race to the ball. Well-placed shot. And just like that, Randoms, they're back in it.
Yeah, and a bit of a mistake there from LJ. He just did not get the read on that ball. He thought he could get off the wall to touch it. And then Gimmick as well, getting beat into it. I don't know if Gimmick realized he was getting dusted there because he moved up very, very low. I feel like if he jumped, he could have got a block on that. Underestimating the pace at 2P spots of the play. It's a bit careless for Oxygen. They were in great position. Chance to redeem themselves. Gimmick on the air dribble, and he's put in a second goal. Ground shot, now the air shot from Gimmick. He's got it all in the dom.
And redemption indeed. And unfortunate for Knight, ended up running into an opponent, driving right into a bump. And sometimes that happens when you're on ball cam and you got somebody rotating back. It didn't even look like an intentional bump. But regardless, that contact opening up the window, and Oxygen take the lead right back.
It's a nice 50 by Gimmick in defense, but it has bounced out dangerously. And again, he's looking for those 50-50s, doesn't want to give the ball away for free. The right idea from Oxygen. They, conceded a bit of an easy goal earlier on in this game. Don't want to make the same mistake again with only 45 seconds left in the game. Randoms biding their time, though, no panic. They know that they will probably get a good chance on net, given the time that they have remaining, but the closer that clock reaches to 0, I'm sure we're just going to see the full commit from these players.
And there we see some passing back and forth, but Gimmick in the midfield shutting down that opportunity. LJ, like that play from LJ, getting the soft touch and stealing that mid boost. The possession game from Oxygen, melting away these final seconds.
These are now the final moments. Great control by Tilsey again. Ball control's been fantastic for Oxygen at the end of this game. Really giving Randoms no real chances. Two-piece looking to drop the ball down to Knight. That's interesting. He had Chronic as an option upfield. Still moving in on it. Well defended though by LJ. No route through for Randoms in the back corner. They drop game 1 to the favorites, OXG.
Oxygen, certainly the favorites. And also for Randoms, a single goal game. And in the group stages, 7 out of their 12 games, they only scored a single goal. So they didn't really have an incredibly high-powered offense, but what they do have is those mechanics. However, for Oxygen, you saw the way that they were playing. It seemed like Randoms didn't really get the space to go for those dribbles, to go for those solo plays. Oxygen all over them. The only goal that Randoms were able to get was that one play where Gimmick, LJ had missed that challenge off the wall, and then Gimmick had an incredibly low challenge, and the ball just skipped right over his head. So Randoms, they have a lot to figure out in this next game, Johnny.
Yeah, I really want to see them just go for it, though. It felt like quite a restrained performance there from Randoms. So we saw yesterday in the group stage in the lower bracket round 1. These guys, they've got firepower, but they've got to go and try to utilize that, especially when Oxygen are just sitting behind the ball like this, when they're slowing the game down, but they're sitting so deep in their own half. They don't look like they're too afraid of Randoms, and now it's up to Randoms to go and give them something to be afraid of, start forcing mistakes, start trying to get them to panic in these positions that right now Oxygen are just so calm in.
Gimmick is trying to make a play, and those dominance hitboxes, they can be a gift and a curse. We saw it be a bit of a curse to Gimmick when the ball slipped over his head, but also on those chips, on the back passes, really let you beat defenders who are coming up. The dominance can chip it so high, so fast.
I really feel like it should be a do not try this at home type of car. You should just slap that on every single Dominus. Let everybody know that, the pros can do this. They can play this very precise car. Very hard to read car, but I don't know. Not convinced with my ranked teammates, never have been. That's all I'm going to say, but
that might,
oh my goodness. That was a huge acceleration of the ball that I don't think anyone is expecting. LJ kind of got a double tap mid-flip off the sidewall.
And that shot, it was not fast, but it was surprising, and it forced a lot of boost out of Randoms. See Randoms trying to get something going on offense. Toasty challenging that right in front of net. Gimmick with a hit downfield, and Knight's beat the control, the flick, redirect. Now Gimmick on the rebound. He'll just punch this one in, but Oxygen had to work hard for this one on the counter.
Fantastic stuff from Gimmick again. Both of his teammates are ahead of him and sort of out of the play, but he knows he can just get a clean hit on the ball. He's lurking, the Predator, using all of his experience to know where to be, when to arrive. Third goal for Gimmick. He's putting them all in for Oxygen today.
And for Toasty on that challenge, I mean, he was up so early, basically pre-jumping, going for that dunk. That's a big risk to take. We're seeing Oxygen take some pretty significant risks, and it's paying off for him.
Yeah, now Random's really in a tough spot. They didn't look anywhere near Oxygen's level in that first game, despite the scoreline. Oxygen were in full control, kind of gave them a goal at some point. I think we had one good chance where LJ made a spectacular save, but toothless compared to yesterday so far from Randoms. They need to step up the aggression here. Chronic accidentally gives the ball away to Toasty. Again, where are the passing plays that we talked about earlier? They need to play off each other's touches the way that they did in the group stage.
Toasty up to LJ. Did he get the flip reset? No, he didn't, but still awkward ball. Randoms trying to clear this out. There's an air dribble. Toasty will get a piece of it. Good look potentially. Gimmick can't get the double, but Chronic misreads that touch, and he'll have to bail.
Yeah, it's just more of the same from Oxygen, trying to control this game, looking for the passing plays. And so far, that game plan has worked out wonderfully. If anything, they're even in more control this game than they were in the last. Experience showing through. They have, they have not had big leads, but that's all you need to get in Rocket League. You don't need to really force the issue. Oh, that's not a good touch by Gimmick, though. He pre-jumps to make up for it. That was a really dangerous touch in defense. But he fixed it himself. He knew what he'd done wrong and how to remedy the situation.
But on the close call, just like on LJ's save, barely getting a piece of it, but just enough to prevent the goal. Still, this one neck and neck. Oxygen, despite having most of the possession, have not been able to pad this lead.
Well, that's a good touch, though. Look at the back corner play. They're actually making decent plays near the walls, and this is harder for Oxygen to read, but the follow-up is so far away. I'd love to see a bit more of a wide formation in offense from Randoms. They're kind of just following each other at the moment. Yes, you can follow up on a play by being right behind it, but options would be ideal. Where's the runner on the far side of the field? Well, now we've actually almost got one. Two-piece deciding to move in. Oxygen.
The key demo right there.
Oh, they've almost scored it as well. It just feels like it's inevitable. Oxygen are so close that they've got a second goal. Toasty a bit fortunate with the finish, but it just felt like it was coming with the pressure they put on the Randoms here.
I mean, to look at two-piece, this is not the Randoms that we saw yesterday. Randoms making a few mistakes here. Two-piece, that first touch was not what was called for. And really, to me, Johnny, that is where Randoms have really struggled, is in their first touch game. Yesterday, they had some excellent first touches that set up the control plays, going for dribbles. That time you see a first touch mistake leading directly to a goal. They haven't been able to control the ball or work with each other. Whereas Oxygen, if they decide to dive in there, they're so fast, or they're faking like they're going to challenge, and then you see Randoms fall for it and give up possession.
Yeah, it's been brilliant from Oxygen. The tail end of game number 1 and the entirety of game number 2, dominant performance by them. Really giving Randoms nothing. And although we've seen a couple of wayward defensive touches, they have been few and far between from Oxygen. And between those, it's been pretty flawless, just not giving Randoms any opportunities. Gimmick wisely air dribbling to waste some more time. Toasty covers the net. The only option there for Chronic was to shoot with the time that was remaining. Toasty knows that. Makes sure to save it. Guarantees the win.
I did. Toasty a bit toxic there instead of letting that ball down to the ground. Looking to pad the stats. And Oxygen move up to a 2-game lead. Now 1 game away from sweeping Randoms out of the event.
Yeah, it's a shame for Randoms. They did perform at such a high level yesterday, but is this where the story ends? Is this where the split ends for them? Can they dig deep here? They were completely outclassed by Oxygen in this game. Randoms just couldn't get control of the ball for any consistent time, and like you mentioned, their first touch game hasn't been ideal, often inviting those strong 50-50s and dunks from Oxygen, who are quite happy. Should they see a wayward touch, should they see a player lose control of the ball, they're going to challenge. They're not going to sit back. I don't think they're that afraid of this Randoms team at the moment, or I don't think they're afraid at all with what Randoms have presented them. And that is, it's surprising to see after how much success Randoms had yesterday against top-class opposition in the region.
You're certainly right. It is a bit surprising, but also just looking at the experience of some of these players. This is a very young Randoms team. Two-piece 15, Chronic and Knight 16. They're playing on the main stage now, and that type of environment, that can really test your nerves. But this is the type of experience that these players on Randoms will need to get to that next level. Whereas, players like Gimmick been doing this a while. They've won it all. and that experience is really showing.
Yeah, and even LJ and Toasty as well. They've made their come up at the end of RLCS Season X and already established themselves as, I think probably the scariest team that were on the rise at that time. The team that, I don't mean this in a bad way, but the worst team who looked like they could win an event in NA, because the events in North America, they always seem to be won by the same teams, and it's, NRG, Envy last season, Space Station Gaming, G2, it's always these teams, whatever team First Killer's been on in the past year as well. I think Oxygen, on their day, they can beat anyone. And they've shown that several events. And now the thing that's really impressive to me is they've found a way to be consistent against the teams that they should be beating. Teams like Randoms, and that's no disrespect to Randoms, who have had a great event here, but Oxygen should be beating them, and they are convincingly at the moment.
And here's another goal coming in. You saw the chance. The rebound from LJ going for this play just off, but Gimmick, that touch, setting up Toasty for the shot. And that is, Toasty, the fact that he's so close and Gimmick still is making that touch, if that goes haywire and Toasty's too close to the play, that's a counter goal for Randoms.
That's a great reaction by Gimmick as well. He just made a bump play, so he's had ball cam off, bumped the goalkeeper, throws ball cam back on, sees the ball flying at him, and just plays it in any way that he can to try and keep the attack alive. So the first play that Gimmick hasn't really been the prime scorer or passer in, but he's still making such a big impact. He's such a difficult player to defend when he's getting in these positions. It's just classic Gimmick. This is going to be great for all of the longtime fans of the man that we've really been hoping would make a resurgence. Here he comes again, this time denied by Knight.
And he really is a thorn in the side of defenses. You never know when he's going to turn, when he's going to get that extra touch. And even there, you see Toasty doing the same thing Gimmick's doing earlier. The Dominus gang, they are ruthless. Gimmick's shot will be denied by Knight, but Gimmick still getting bumps on his rotation out.
Yeah, he's just staying so aggressive on the other side of the ball. Really a lot of faith in his teammates behind him. Oh, that's not the ideal save from Two Piece. He's bailed out by Chronic. Can Randoms get anything going? It's more of the same that we saw in Game 2. It's all Oxygen. They've got Randoms completely pinned back in their half now. They're responding to every single play that Randoms make. It's a nice touch there by Chronic to keep control. And another one. This is promising. And he offloaded to the center. Yes, he can. Two Piece unable to get the touch on it. It was a fast ball across the box, so you can't really blame him. Those are the chances that Randoms need to be taken. Great play by Chronic down the line.
And again, the slight touch from Oxygen breaking up that passing play. That shot will be good. Gimmick was on the goal line. We'll take another look why he didn't jump.
Oh, yes, so we did actually see a fastball coming across the middle of the box into the ceiling, and Gimmick boost starved, so he couldn't cover everything, and he didn't have a lot of momentum either, so I think he was just kind of hoping that the shot would not be taken on the first touch, which it was. Difficult position either way when you're out of boost. Here come Randoms again. Oh my goodness, what a goal by Two Piece! I wondered if he knew much about it. With a double tap from that range, you got to wonder. Look at that, he's actually got this game's ball. That's unbelievable.
He squeezed that in between the defender. You saw LJ was defending the pass. He was expecting that to hit off the backboard and go back middle. That's why he was so far out.
That's crazy. I mean, with any kind of double tap in this range, you sometimes think that, or you sometimes see pros will adapt mid-play. They'll make one touch, realize the double tap's on, and then play for it. But it looked like Two Piece was actually playing for the double tap from the setup. Oh, great 50 by Gimmick. And LJ's going to equalize. So, unfortunately, for Two Piece, his wonderful goal's been cancelled out by a completely open net.
And again, a rough first touch there from Knight on the back wall.
Yeah,
you saw him. It was a very awkward position, but we have seen pros in that situation able to keep that ball deep in the corner. And that first touch, it gave the opportunity for the follow-up shot. So the first touch is continuing to be devastating for Randoms.
Right back into offense, though. This is much better from them. Life still remaining, and they must be excited after a big goal like that from Two Piece. Going out with their best game yet, if this is to be their last game.
Toasty, hard off the wall. Chronic's up, and it's right back to Toasty, who's going to pop it high. LJ up early, second effort on the ball, going for the 50. He does blast it back down. Knight bumped off the ball. Gimmick with the setup two-piece will be blocked. LJ back to Gimmick in the corner, who just got the boost. Gimmick sees Toasty in the middle. Pass attempt. The shot gonna be wide, but you see the panic on the defense from Randoms.
And the boost has been taken away from them time and time again. Final minute of the game, and here comes Gimmick. He's done it again. The most effective offensive player today for Oxygen puts in yet another goal, beating Chronic to the punch, and that wasn't a boost starved Chronic. Gimmick's just too fast. Perfect timing of his arrival again. They lead by 1 with 49 seconds left.
And I love what LJ does there, not only with the air dribble pass, but you saw him get in the way of the defender, getting his Octane in a spot that lets Gimmick have that space to take the shot. Oxygen, they are playing their hearts out. They know what's on the line. They are fighting to get that top 5 spot so they can make it to the major. And this performance, this was exactly what they needed and their fans were hoping for.
It's going to give so much hope to them. We went into this event slight favorites to snag that 5th major spot. They're still in the running. A long way to go, but this is the first step. LJ trying to let the clock do the work for him, but Chronic dives in, keeps this one alive. Vacates the area, and there's not long left for Randoms to create a chance. The ball's just stuck in the corner.
LJ, the challenge, that's gonna hit Oxygen, sweep Randoms. An important win for Oxygen as they move on.